This is the Galaxy Z Flip 5, Samsung's brand new flip phone, and when we first saw it, two things came to mind immediately. The first one was finally a large screen on the front of the phone, and the second thing was what the hell took Samsung so long? So the Flip 5 comes with a 3.4-inch screen that covers almost the entire front of the phone. And just compare it to the 1.9-inch screen on the Flip 4, and you notice the massive difference right away. And you might already be thinking, that is great, I can finally do it all right from this small screen. But this is where things get a bit complicated. Yes, you can do some things on the cover screen, but not quite everything. And that's probably because it's a weird screen, different from the tall and vertical main screens that apps are usually built for. So first, Samsung has built a few widgets specifically for the smaller screen size. Now you can see the time, date and notifications or these other colorful clock styles. And then you can also swipe left or right to switch between widgets. So you have your calendar widgets, the weather widget, clock, and steps you've taken, plus you can pinch to zoom out to add or remove widgets. But then you can enable other apps to also work on that screen via a special menu, and that's how you get these much needed other apps. Now here's what we saw worked on our unit that we tested briefly. Now you can run Google Maps on the cover screen, you can have YouTube and Netflix, and you also have the Google and Samsung Messages app. Now we guess apps like a browser and others will also be available in the near future, but we didn't have them on the unit that we tested. So the support for apps on the Flip 5 is not quite as vast as that of the Motorola Razr Plus that I reviewed just a month ago, which supported all of those functions, and you can even play games on the tiny screen. But let's move on and see what else is new, and first just look at that. The Flip 5 now closes with no gap between the two halves, and because of that it is also a bit thinner now. Now still, it remains chunkier than a regular phone when closed, just not quite as much as before. The Flip 5 is rated IPX8, so that means it's the same as before. Great water resistance, that's the 8 in the rating, but still no special dust resistance, so that's why you have the X in the rating. And just remember that dust remains the #1 enemy of flip phones, and you should still be more careful with a flip phone than with a non-folding phone. But one thing Samsung mentioned was really great news about durability. Now, all folding phones come with a screen protector that you should never take off. It protects the fragile, flexible panel underneath, but after using the phone for a few months or a year, at least with previous foldables, many users say these screen protectors come off or form bubbles. Well, good news is Samsung says both the Flip 5 and Fold 5 now use a stronger adhesive, so this issue should be far less common, or hopefully completely gone. Now with this in mind, you have the same tall and narrow 6.7-inch main screen on the Flip 5 as before, and unfortunately that crease in the middle is still there, and it seems just the same as before. Also, another strange detail to share, while the main screen runs at 120 Hz, the cover screen actually runs at 60 Hz, so it's a bit choppier. Now, one more place where you see big changes on the Flip 5 is the inside of the phone. The Flip 5 is actually the first flip phone to have the latest and greatest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip inside it, and that makes it a beat faster than all other flip phones on the market. It just works well, and another very welcome upgrade is that you now have 256 GB of storage in the base model, double what you used to have before, so we're really happy about these two upgrades. What has not changed much is the cameras. You still have a dual camera system, and the hardware seems to be exactly the same as before, with a 12 megapixel main and a 12 megapixel ultra wide shooter. No telephoto zoom camera here, so zoom quality is definitely worse than on the regular Galaxy S23 series. Samsung, however, promises that the cameras are not quite the same as before because they have better software processing, more accurate skin tones, less noise, so that's nice, but just don't expect huge changes. Now, speaking of sameness, battery size is also the same on the Flip 5 as before as on the previous models at 3700 mAh. a bit smaller than on the regular Galaxy S23, which has a 3900 mAh battery. As for charging, you have 25-watt charging speeds via a wire and around 10 watts if you use a wireless charger. As for colors, you have 4 options: mint, lavender, graphite, and cream, and a few more exclusive color versions if you purchase the phone online. And finally, prices. The Flip 5 costs a bit more than before in the UK. It was sold at 1,000 British pounds, while this new model comes in at 1,050. But in the United States, prices remain the same. And that's actually great because the base model has double the storage. So the Flip 5 is mostly a nice upgrade, but also the outer screen still has some limitations that need to be ironed out. If you want to see the best alternative, check out our review of the Motorola Razr Plus, which also costs about $1,000 but can open all of your apps on the cover screen. And let me know your thoughts on the Flip 5. Are you getting one? And are flip phones here to stay? What do you think? Thanks for watching. My name is Vic, and I'll see you guys in the next one.